And I might have missed it. I wanted to say congratulations again on getting this grant. It's you know, jumping through a lot of hoops and do a lot of painstaking gnashing of teeth, and etc. So congratulations again. And I saw that there was a 3 to 5 year report card, but can you maybe go over again, or if you haven't yet, what is your time frame on this? Like, what do you hope to achieve? Because $1.3 million can go very, very quickly. I mean, like that, and then it's done, and then where do things stand? So I just was sort of wondering what your
3 years.
3 years.
We have a 3-year commitment from HUD and the other agencies.
So that 1.3 will be dispersed over that 3-year plan.
And
what's the ratio of the match too? So everybody's talking about 1.3. What are you guys? I know that in terms of the.
I apologize if you said it.
Yeah, I want to say that's only maybe a third. I want to say I'm trying to.
Yeah, we have in
60,
kind
40, 70, 30
as well from the other New Hanover County, Brunswick and Pender committed in kind. And what is that total figure? Do you have it?
Yeah, sorry, I should know this off the top.
Me too.
I'm spitballing, but I want to say it's like two-thirds.
It's somewhere. We had
the overall investment is
percentage.
probably 3-some billion, or 3-some million.
Yeah.
The 1.3 is about, I want to say, a third or something.
Our initial request to HUD was basically about $4,000 more than we've received, and we have budgeted over $422,000 in kind, which means dedication of staff time, and that comes out to over 37% match. So that 1.13 is just the money that we're receiving from HUD. That doesn't include the value, I guess you could say, of staff's involvement from the various entities over 3 years.
Okay.
I have a question. You said SAS was donating some sort. Has anyone else been approaching private sector companies that might be interested in getting involved, getting behind this?
That's where we're at now, is to develop those 2 committees and get those everyone, public and private organizations on board. And that's something that we're working on right now, is to identify what representation do we not have involved in the consortium as a whole, and what kind of organizations and agencies do we want to bring on board with these committees. So that's exactly where we are right now.
How does the money get divided up? I saw you had a program director and a program manager on, hopefully on staff too, as well as the in-kind. Is this something that's going to be done in-house, or is this going to be done through a series of consultants? Where's the money going to go eventually?
Well, we have a very itemized budget. The money is going, everything from paying the 2 staff personnel to a lot of it is focused on community outreach. We have a lot of money set aside to contract with community organizations to facilitate the public input process. We have money just for various things, office supplies, things like that over the years. The process to get that money is the money will come from HUD to the lead applicant and then distributed as such with the oversight from the program director. It was mentioned that the word shelf plan. The word shelf plan was mentioned shortly ago, and that's something that I want to touch on, because when we put this application together, we did not want to contract with a consultant because we wanted to retain that oversight from the consortium overseeing this project. We had a fear that if we were to hire a consultant, that we would basically give a lot of money to a consultant and get a plan back that we didn't necessarily agree with, or we didn't necessarily buy in. So we wanted to retain that oversight and be able to, see what's going on with this plan as it's being developed. So we're not contracting with consultants, so to speak, to develop the whole plan, but we have various subcontracting budget items set aside.
That's a great.
The plan, with all the separate counties having to work together, does the grant require you to have one universal plan for all 3 counties, or are you able to create a plan and then kind of like 3 separate subcategories, maybe? Because Wilmington, obviously, with this population, is going to have a lot different kind of implementation than, say, Brunswick County or Pender County.
Actually, there's the city of Wilmington, then there's the unincorporated county, which I work for New Hanover County. Then there's Brunswick and all their towns, and Pender and all their towns. So it's not just the focus of the 3 governments. There are lots of governments to be involved. We're involved in the towns that want to be involved. So it's just not county governments
So
taking the
like with New Hanover County, how, County Beach, Russell Beach, they haven't quite gotten involved. So is that, if more, I guess, municipalities get involved in it, the funds are just, I guess, will that create a strain on the funds? Or?
the funds aren't for the counties. The funds are to develop a regional plan. It's not to pay all of our contributions as counties are in kind. That's staff time and other things that we have. But it's not to
So it's strictly
benefit,
just creating the plan, not
to develop a plan. It's not to supplement in any way the county governments.
But to go back and what you're touching on with the unique circumstances or challenges for the different counties or the city and the different organizations, yes, there will be one plan, but within that plan we will create a toolkit that will evaluate what the barriers to the implementation will be for a particular county or the city, and how the recommendation to overcome that barrier. So kind of go back to that example of a conflicting land use policy. That toolkit would recommend that policy be changed to X to be in concert with the regional plan.
So the motivation for a certain municipality to adopt aspects of the plan would be they would eventually get pressure from HUD, DOT, the EPA in the form of them withholding something that they would get from those agencies if they were to adopt the plan. Is that?
I don't think there's any consequence for the town to not be involved, but I think it would be a loss of opportunity for a town to provide their input to what they want to see the future of our region. That's an opportunity for the individual jurisdictions to provide that input and be involved with planning on a regional basis rather than being confined to their individual jurisdiction. But I don't think there's going to be any consequences or any negative aspects of a town or jurisdiction not being involved or not adopting the plan in its entirety.
We were awarded the grant not contingent on any other municipalities being involved. HUD has not stipulated that, and we're aware of our geographical area and the municipalities.
And also, it's worth mentioning that we do have letters of support from the majority of the jurisdictions and towns in the region, so they might not be bound by this MOU, but they have indicated their support only through a letter either from the mayor or town manager or a council member.
Can you talk about the different beaches, Wilmington, Carolina Beach, not getting on board? To me, that seems integral into the plan. Do you plan to go to them and not plead your case, but explain to them how maybe beneficial it would be to them to be on board, or do you plan to educate them? That's basically what I'm saying, not the importance of getting on board.
That goes back to kind of the step that we're in now, is forming these committees, and the towns and jurisdictions will be part of that regional advisory committee. So what we're about to embark on is doing all this outreach to not only the community organizations, but to these different jurisdictions to try to get them on board and try to tell them, let them know what we have going on, present that opportunity for them, and then hopefully they will get involved.
And I don't think that their involvement necessarily was for lack of interest or as much as maybe staffing issues. Not necessarily not being interested in developing the plan. staffing issues, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I agree. A lot of the towns, particularly, the smaller ones, you have someone that wears a lot of hats, and we don't really have the ability to commit the time,
Can that be overcome?